Well, it's a little bit of a funny experience, standing up here celebrating the accomplishments of the class of 2026. When I look out at this audience, I see so many of the faces that brought me to this point. The gasoline in the engine that got me over the finish line. And the reason why I'm wearing this cap and gown today. So, to Mrs. Dorr, my tutor, Daniel McCleskey, my youth pastor, to my parents, my grandparents, and to everyone else in this audience who's helped me get to this moment, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. In 399 BC, when the Athenians brought Socrates to trial on the charges of denying the Greek gods and corrupting the youth, they brought him before trial and said that if he was found guilty, he would be killed. Socrates, in his flippant and defiant speech to the court, declared, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Well, boys and girls, we've examined it. Over the course of our time in classical conversations, we've read through the classics of Western literature. We've wrestled with the big philosophical questions posed by theologians and philosophers. And, I believe, in one small way or another, in every conversation, gotten closer to answering the question, what it means to know God and to make him known. Soon we'll be stepping out of high school. The final dusty textbook will close, we'll throw our hats up in the air, and our conversations will come to an end. But as we enter in onto this new chapter of our lives, a new challenge is set before us. And that is this: it is not enough merely to know truth and virtue. We must live it out by the grace of God. And to understand this, we must understand that the world doesn't know truth. We know truth, and it can help us follow Christ. But we can never allow this knowledge of God to become sterile and purely intellectual. Christ said on the Sermon on the Mount, "Ye are the lights of the world." And that's true. But that doesn't change the fact that those outside of Christ are living in darkness. When we step out of this classical conversations, which is a sort of liminal space where we can learn about God, morality, right and wrong, and enter into a world which calls good evil and evil good. It's fair to say that we've had a little bit of a unique education. Most people don't graduate with a graduating class of 6 people. And in a more tangible way, we've had a unique education in the way we've been taught. For most people, they haven't learned by sitting around a round table, throwing ideas and hashing out concepts, debating one another, trying to test the validity of claims and questions to get closer to the truth. For many in America, their education resembles that of an assembly line, where each person is given a rigid set of axiomatic beliefs that are dogmatic and driven from philosophies and philosophers like David Hume and Jean-Paul Sartre, rather than the teachings of Christ and his apostles. It's fair to say, I think we have the leg up when it comes to the business of knowledge. But we need to remember that knowledge is not purely an intellectual thing. It's something that we need to realize and internalize within ourselves. As James wrote in the book of James, even the devil believes and trembles. We must truly run the race. As Paul wrote, "If I understand all mysteries but have not love, I am nothing." It's one thing to know how a parachute works. It's another to jump out of an airplane. So, as we leave high school, as we close our textbooks, as we throw our hats in the air, and as our conversations which have lasted for years on end, finally come to a close, I think it's only best to end with the words of the Roman philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who, at the end of a very long conversation on the discussion of virtue, said, "Cease this arguing of what it means to be a good man. Be one." Thank you. And now, if you'll all turn behind me, you'll see the slideshow beginning promptly. Thank you all.